So did you know that about 80% of people who make New Year's resolutions fail those resolutions by February? So the date I'm making this is the 11th of February. And at the beginning of the year, you would have heard a lot of people talking about doing things like quitting smoking or losing weight or starting a new business or spending more time with their family. New Year's resolutions are things that people decide to do to get better. And by February, 80% of them have failed. Also, did you know that 80% of new businesses also fail? And for the exact same reasons as the people who did those New Year's resolutions. Also, I'd say even more than 80% of people who try and do the Ielts test fail. Again, for the exact same reasons. So wouldn't it be a great idea if you knew those reasons and knew the key principles so that you could avoid them? And also, there is a disproportionate number of businesses that do really, really well. There are a disproportionate number of people who do really well in their New Year's resolutions, and a disproportionate number of people who do really, really well in their Ielts test by doing the one thing that is really, 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 really important. So we need to figure that out, and that's what we're going to do in this video. And it can be summarized with this very crude but very effective diagram. So hopefully you can see that. And we'll come back to this at the end of the video. If you are doing this, you are in big trouble. If you're doing this, you're going to be successful. So before we get into the IELTS part of it, let's give you a real life example to help illustrate this point. So I have a personal trainer. He comes to my house about 3 times a week, and one of the things that we talk about is why people are successful at getting fit and losing weight and why some people aren't. And he says that the funny thing is the exact same things that cause people to be unsuccessful or successful are exactly the same as what makes a IELTS student successful or not. And he tells me that when people come on to his course, what they tend to do is they say things like, what type of shoes should I buy? What type of brand of protein powder should I buy? Does it matter if I eat at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m.? Should I eat my dinner at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m.? Which brand of clothing should I wear? So they constantly worry about things that have no impact whatsoever on their results. And by worrying about all of these things, it means that they're not putting any focus into the things that actually do cause them to lose weight and get fit. And the two principal things are exercise and eat healthy. And very few people actually do that, and then they fail and they get frustrated and they just give up and they stay unfit or unhealthy for the rest of their lives. Exactly the same thing happens in business. About 9 months ago, I had a friend who wanted to set up an IELTS school. And I said, yeah, no problem, I'll help you out with that. I'll give you all the advice that you need. And in the first meeting, he said, these are the things that I'm worried about. Number one, where should I incorporate my business? Should I incorporate it in Singapore or Hong Kong or Panama? I was like, that's a very strange question. And then he started talking about his logo and how important the logo was and the design of the logo. And then he started talking about the name of the business and how important that was. And I said to him, listen, you're going to fail. You are going to fail because you're not focusing on the things that actually matter, which is helping students. What are you going to do to help students? Your logo is not going to do that. The name of the business is not going to do that. Where your business is incorporated, the location for an online company does not matter at all. And he failed. And the exact same thing happens with IELTS students every single day. If we go through my inbox and look at the emails that we get from VIP students, I'm just going to read some of them out to you. So this was just over the weekend. Number one, should I use a pen or a pencil? Doesn't matter. Which podcast should I use to improve my listening? Doesn't matter. Should I skip a line between paragraphs or have an indent in paragraphs? Doesn't matter. Should I do it at the BC or IDP? Doesn't matter. Should I do the computerized test or the paper-based test? Doesn't matter. Which book should I use to improve my reading? Doesn't matter. Should I use capital letters or should I not use capital letters in the reading and listening test? Doesn't matter. Is it important that my handwriting is pretty and they will impress the examiner with my beautiful handwriting? No. Is it important that I have a British accent? No. Is it important how I greet the examiner? No. Should I use hand gestures? Doesn't matter. What about body language and eye contact in the speaking test? Is that important? No. So the majority of the questions that we get are about things that have no impact whatsoever on your score. So why is that important? That is important because if you are like this person who is constantly worrying about things that have no impact on their score, then you are not going in the right direction. Because where your focus is where your energy is. And where your energy is where the improvements are going to come. So if you're constantly worrying about things that do not matter at all, and this also includes, like, we get a lot of questions about someone saying things like, this tiny little grammar error, I don't understand it. It's like, you can spend the next 5 days worrying about that, or you can spend the next 5 days focusing on things that actually do improve your score. And contrast that with this. A student who focuses on what actually matters, they are going to make a huge amount of progress and they're going to get the score that they need because they're moving in the right direction and they're just focusing on what improves their scores. And this is not only in relation to Ielts. This is, you can look up the 80-20 rule, 80/20, or the Pareto principle. In every area of life, in every area of the universe, a small amount of actions actually lead to the biggest results. So what you need to do is you need to figure out which actions you need to focus on, and more importantly, which things have no impact whatsoever, and ignore those things. So what can you do in order to make sure that that happens? Well, first of all, what we have done with the course is we focus on only the things that will improve your score. So when you log into the course and you complete the course, all you are doing is going in the right direction. And when you are doing these things, i.e. not completing the course and not following the course, you're not going in the right direction. So just by joining the course, you are following this principle of focusing on what matters. Now the problem is that many of you join and you don't complete the course, you do just some of the modules, you might complete all the modules but you don't follow the advice in there, you do your own thing. That is your decision, but it is a very, 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 very bad decision. Every single thing in the course has been designed to get you in the right direction. So it is very, very important that you complete it and that you do it. And if you do those things, you're going in the right direction. The other thing that you need to focus on, especially for speaking and writing, is focus on the marking criteria. Let's take speaking for example. There are 4 things and 4 things only that are being assessed: pronunciation, fluency and coherence, grammar, and vocabulary. So what should you focus on? Those 4 things and those 4 things only. So it's really important that you understand the marking criteria, and then you can ask yourself, if you're worried about anything, is this included in the marking criteria? Are they worried about this? Are the examiners going to be thinking about this? So for example, let's say you don't know whether to skip a line between paragraphs or make an indent in a paragraph. You just think, are the examiners going to be thinking about this and worrying about this? No, they're not worrying about this at all. Or let's say you ask one of these questions like, how many words should I use in my explanation? Will the examiners be thinking about number of words? No, they'll be thinking about the effectiveness of the explanation, how good the explanation is, the quality of the explanation, not how many words it is. So it's always important that you understand the marking criteria and you focus on that. And so focus, number one, on the course. Follow exactly what the course says. Number two, focus on the marking criteria. And number three, focus on the feedback. The number of people that email us after we send them their feedback for writing and say, what do I do with this? Well, have you read it? It's like, that would be the first step. Many of you don't even read the feedback that we give you. And many of you email us and say, I've read the feedback, but I don't know how to improve. The feedback tells you exactly what to do to improve. So what you need to do when you get that feedback is take action on it. Focus on the things. Like, there is literally a bullet point list of the things that you need to improve. Focus on those things. Alright? And that is where you're going to see the major improvements. So that's number three. Number four, focus on your weaknesses. Alright? What do you need to improve first? Many people email us and say, I bought the VIP course and I don't know where to start with the writing, the speaking, the reading, or the listening. What scores did you get last time? I got 7 in speaking, 7 in reading, 7 in listening, and 5.5 in my writing. Which one do you think that they should start with? The one that they are struggling with. That should be your main focus. Your main focus should be your weaknesses. Within whatever module you're studying, what are the things that you really need to work on? So instead of watching every single past live lesson that we've ever done, just focus on the live lessons, the old ones that really need your attention. And a thing that you should always be thinking about is just asking yourself this question. By becoming an independent student and asking yourself this question, will this have an impact on my scores? This thing that I'm worrying about, this question that I have, will it have an impact on my scores? So, like, we had a question the other day from a person who asked, should I use an ink pen or a gel pen? Like, maybe that person was joking. I hope that they were. But whether you use, this pen or that pen, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to have an impact on your scores. So always think about that. And by understanding the marking criteria, understanding the course, understanding the feedback that we give you, then you're going to be very, very tuned in to exactly what you need to do. And you'll be able to answer that question yourself at every stage. And then the other thing to do is listen to us. Listen to the feedback that we give you, but also listen to the advice that we give you. Many of you will send us like 10 emails a day asking, which pen to use and which shoes you should wear to the and I understand that it's a very worrying test and you're under a lot of pressure, but when we tell you you don't need to worry about that, don't get upset with us, because all we're doing is trying to help you. And our main goal is to get you the scores that you need. And part of that job is to tell you when you're worrying about something that just doesn't matter at all. So when we tell you, don't worry about this, focus on this, we're not doing that because we don't want to help you. We're doing that because we really, really, really do want to help you. So don't be like this person, which is the vast, 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 vast majority of IELTS students. Be like this person, just focusing on the things that actually matter, and that is going to get you to your destination. Hopefully you find that useful, and if you have anything you need, feel free to get in touch. But please do ask yourself, is the thing actually going to get me here? And just by following the course and taking action on your feedback, you're going in the right direction. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.